So this is going to be part 2 of the Healing Her series, and this part is called Healing Your Inner Child. So as I talked about in my previous video, which is finding the root of the pain, I had God revealed the root of my pain, which was abandonment in North Carolina. So when I returned from North Carolina, the Lord just continued to work with me on the abandonment wound, continued to help me unpack it, help me to process it. He continued to reveal and show me different times in my life and things in my life where this abandonment wound had actually taken part, right? So he showed me the areas in where I stayed, with different family members. I didn't really stay with my biological mom and my stepdad and my sisters. I was always with somebody else. I don't really recall any time being in the home with my mom and my biological dad. I think when I think of it now, I think I recall maybe 3 times that I was with my biological mom, dad, my biological mom, my stepdad, and my sisters. And so, as the Lord just started to reveal this to me, I started to see myself as two. I saw myself as the adult, then I also saw myself as the child that was hurting, the child that had the abandonment wound, who was abandoned, who wasn't chosen, who wasn't selected, who felt like they wasn't good enough, felt like they wasn't worthy enough, like I had her. And so as these memories started to come up, because these are things that I actually forgot about. So remember the previous video I said to me, I was rejecting the abandonment wound because I was like, my mom and my dad was there, right? I forgot all about not being with my mother. I forgot all about living with the different aunts that I was living with. I forgot all about going to Michigan. These are all the things that I forgot about. And so my body only kept in the forefront the 3 instances maybe that I remember being with my mother and then my stepdad and my sisters. And so your body can trick you. If there's any type of trauma that you have that your body doesn't want you to remember or think that it's going to harm you, it will trick you and it will create a false narrative. And that's what it was for me. It stayed on the good parts of, oh, I had my mom, I had my dad, I had da 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 da, right? In actuality, no, you did not. Hence is why you have the abandonment issue. But so with that, I found myself parenting. So I found myself taking the time and setting aside time to hear that little girl in me speak. Why was I not chosen? Why did I stay with my aunties? Why didn't I stay with mommy and daddy? Why didn't I stay with this? Like I had all those questions that came up. I, as the adult, didn't have answers for it. And so all I could do at that time was console that part of me by saying, hey, I'm sorry, I don't know why you wasn't with mommy and daddy. I don't know, why you experienced what you experienced. I don't know why you were chosen, but I can say that I am here right now and that I am here to protect you. I am here to give you security and safety. I am here, for you. Like, I'm here for you the same way that I treat, our kids. I am going to treat you the same way. I'm here to protect you. Like, I am here now, and I can assure you that I'm not going nowhere. And I found myself of doing that. I was sick and I would hug myself. And it's like, imagine you're hugging that little girl, the little version of you. And you're hugging her and you're just reassuring her, I'm sorry that you went through what you went through. It was not your fault, but I am going to be here for you. I am going to take care of you. You have me now. You don't have anything to worry about, right? And so I was doing that. And I remember getting a phone call from my mom one time. And we were talking. And I remember the little girl in me rising up, wanting to ask questions. And I remember telling my mom, hey, I want to talk about something. And I allow that little girl in me to speak up and ask, why didn't I live with you and daddy? Why was I always over living with different aunts? What happened to me being shipped over to Michigan after my surgery? Why did you leave me in the hospital? Like, all these questions I had to ask her. And she gave me answers. And this is where the adult part came in, because the child in me didn't understand it, and the adult part didn't understand it either. But her answers, she gave me her answers, and I had to realize her answers are her answers, right? We're not talking to her for her to like apologize or get answers. We're talking to her to get out what it is that we are feeling. And that's when, she gave me her answers. She told me what was going on. She kind of blamed somebody else, and I was like, how can you do that? But whatever. And she did start to apologize, and I had to tell her, like, I'm talking to you. It's not for you to get an apology from me, but for you to hear me, for you just to hear where my pain is coming from, how I feel, because these are things that are coming up that I had no recollection of, I didn't have no remembrance of, and they are coming up as I start to heal. And so as she continued to explain, and although the little girl in me was like, what? And even the adult with me was like, I cannot imagine as me being an adult and somebody else dictating where my child go and this, that, and the other. I just can't. But it was just like her answers are her answers, right? And so after having that conversation with her, and we talked because my dad passed away, and so I can't really ask him any questions. She said, your dad's not here for us to talk to him, so and I kind of just left it at that. And after having that conversation with her, I felt better. Was I still a little confused? Yes. But I felt better to be able to get those questions answered. But I also felt better knowing that I was now an adult who was now going to take care and who was going to provide safety, security, and who was going to choose me and that little girl inside of me for now on. So it was like, so she was able, the little girl in me was able to subside, right? And started to integrate. I would say that was the easiest part. Out of all the healing journey, that's the easiest part. And so with that, some steps again just to take, like I said, is just really going back to what I said in the previous video. You're going to journal. Make sure you have a journal. Make sure you seek spiritual guidance. Make sure that you listen without judgment. Make sure that you have compassion and grace for yourself and understanding for yourself. Don't blame yourself, right? Because it's not your fault. And make sure that you are parenting yourself, especially when it comes to the inner child. You are now an adult. You now have to be the parent to that inner child, right? And so you just want to make sure also that you follow the guidance of God, or whatever faith that you have. Make sure you follow the guidance, whether that's getting therapy, seeking out a coach, going to groups, whatever it may be. But also want you to be careful if you decide to talk to any of your parents or family members or anyone that hurt you. Be very careful. And even with that, I would say write it down. Get you a piece of paper and write down how you feel, how that person hurt you, or whatever it may be, and just write it down and burn it. You can do it that way if the person is unsafe to talk to. But if the person is safe to talk to, have a conversation, non-biased, right? And just have the conversation of curiosity. You're asking questions, and whatever answers they give you is the answers they give you. Because it's not about them saying what you want to hear. Is really about you being able to release and give a voice to that inner child. So I really hope this helped. In part 3, we're going to talk about letting go of the old, dying to self, and dying to the old version of you, I guess. But stay tuned again. Engage with me in the comments. Let me know if this is helping you, and let me know your experience if you have any questions or thoughts and opinions or what have you. My goal here is to share my journey and what I'm doing and have done to start becoming her, right? In order to help somebody else heal, somebody else become themselves, whatever journey you may on. I'm just really here to be of some type of assistance.